Today I'm going to share with you how to make a flat bottom zipper pouch. I've done some prepping. So the first thing, you're going to need a zipper, internal lining fabric, external fabric. So I have created a pattern, I don't know why you can see that, where I've marked out my flat bottom corners. Like these are 1.5 inches wide. This is about 9 3/4. And this depth is 12. As you can see here, I have used a quilter's ruler to get a right angle here. I'll mark the top, mark my 1.5 inch, and then I've joined up my corner to my top to get this line. So my depth of my bag is going to be from here to here, which is 10.5 inches. I'm making this for a friend who wishes to store her 8-inch embroidery hoop in it. So this is fusible fleece. My outer fabric is a slightly thicker, it's more like a canvas than a cotton, and a thicker upholstery fabric. So I'm going to create a 2-piece fabric bag. So first thing you're going to do is join up your 2 fabrics, placing the right sides together. Stitch along, open out, press your fabric, seam allowance, towards a lighter fabric and top stitch in place. Then you're going to mark on your fusible fleece a line where you want your joining fabrics to meet, so that you get a nice parallel, straight joining of your fabrics. So this is 3.5 inches. So there's a mark there and a mark there, and I've placed them along my original stitch line. So now we have our prepped fabric for the outer bag. I'm just going to cut this as per my fusible fleece. So you can use a quilter's ruler and rotary cutter if you prefer. So that's my outer fabric. This is my lining fabric, which I've lined with lightweight interfacing. I am going to add a slip pocket for my friend because that's what she's requested. So let me find that. I don't think she needs a pocket that big. Right. So this piece measures 13.5 by 7 inches. I'm going to fold that in half, and I'm going to stitch, hang on, that's probably stitch down the side and along the bottom. So I'm going to trim that corner. And that one. Turn it right side out. And give it a jolly good press. Just going to push out those corners. So, and I'm also going to turn in this raw edge as I press inwards. Yep. So now I've done that, I'm going to place it on my lining fabric. I'm going to place the raw edges that are pressed in at the bottom of the pocket. So when I stitch the pocket on, I place that raw edge. So I'm doing this by eye. So that is 2 1/4 from each edge, and I've lined it up straight. Yep. Just putting that in place. So I'm going to stitch down the side along the bottom at the top. I'm going to back stitch at the top of each edge because that's a pressure point for the pocket. So there's our pocket for the flat bottom pouch. So we've got our lining sorted, we've got our external fabric sorted. Next we need to think about the zipper. So I always have a bunch of zips to hand. This one's too long, so we need to shorten it. So I'm going to put zipper tabs on, and I like to make sure these ends don't separate from each other, so I'm just going to do a little bit of hand stitching just to hold them together. It's a temporary measure. Right, zipper tabs. So I'm going to do this in the same fabric as my outer fabric. Obviously you don't have to, it's your choice. You might wish to make it a complementary fabric to make it pop. Your choice. You're going to need 4 pieces, approximately 1.5 inches square. Let's do the zip end first. So you're going to place your zipper tabs inwards facing the zip, and we're going to machine stitch across here a nice straight line, so you create a sandwich: fabric, zipper, fabric, right sides of the fabric facing each other. So I'm going to trim this now to reduce the zipper bulk, which will make it easier when we turn the bag the right side out. And I'm going to press these away from the zip. Realise the camera's a long way away from you, so let me zoom in when I do the second side. So we need our zip to be the width of the top of the bag. So I'm going to cut it and place my two other 1.5 inch squares, right sides facing each other, sheen stitch across. So like before, I'm going to trim this zipper to reduce my bulk and press my tabs away from the zipper. So let's make the bag. So you need a piece of lining. Okay, let's make the bag. So place your zipper on the right side of your lining piece. Zipper right side up towards you, followed by your outer fabric. So we're making a sandwich. Pin that in place. So you mean sheen stitched, and you're going to flip it away from your zip and give it a really good press. And once you've pressed it really tightly away from the zip, both sides, you're going to top stitch along this edge here. So you know you've done one side and you top stitched, we're going to do the second side. Creating our sandwich as before. When I'm stitching, I like to move the zip out of the way, machine stitch along, pause, put the needle into the fabric, lift the zipper foot and then wriggle the zipper past the foot and then continue, and that gives it a much straighter line. So we're at the final stages now. So we're going to fold our external fabrics together and our internal fabrics together. Oh, first thing we're going to do is undo the zip part way. Right. So I'm going to try and make sure those edges align really neatly. So now we've pinned, we're going to sew these long edges, and then we're going to sew that edge here on the outer fabric, but only an inch in on the base fabric. So let's do that and then I'll show you how to box the corners. When it comes to going over your zipper bulk, you may find one of these. I think it's called a sewing jig. Oh, really helpful. You put it under your you lift your presser foot, put it behind, and it lifts your presser foot up to the same height as it's going to stitch over when it gets the zipper. And it just helps you machine over that extra bulk. So I'm going to lift my foot, put my bulk aid under, place it the other side, and we're over without a missed stitch. So now we stitched, like I said, we're going to box these corners. So you're simply folding in your edges to meet. My lining has slipped a bit, hence it's a little bit out of alignment, but it should be fine when I finish sewing it. So this is a better example here. So you're folding your cut corners to meet each other, then you're going to stitch those across. And then we're going to turn it through our turning gap in the lining. That's why we need to leave the zipper open when we've stitched our sides. Right, let's turn our bag right side out. Push those corners out and the base. So you can see here when you cut across just now, that created a flat bottom of your bag. Now, I suspect I should have trimmed that a bit further. And probably this side too. The lining fits nicely. There we go. Right, I'm just going to trim that a little bit further and see if I can get that to come out a little bit neater. It's better. Right. So to finish the bag off, all we need to do is deal with this raw edge here, a turning gap. There are two ways of doing that. You're going to turn it in, and you can either, to be honest, no one's going to see it, so you could easily just top stitch along there, press along the edge. Oh, I'm going to hand stitch it. Hey Nick, because I run out of the matching colour in my bobbin, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to press it and then stitch it closed. So I've pressed my edges, attached a thread, needle and thread, and I'm going in one side, moving along internally, coming up, back in, moving along, back up. Doesn't take long to do. I think it's a really neat finish. Right, push your lining back inside your bag. So here's my finished pouch. Flat bottom, zipper, an internal slip pocket. Obviously you can make these sizes very variable. I did realise that actually my 8-inch embroidery hoop doesn't quite fit this gap here. So actually I've made my friend another one that little bit bigger, another couple of inches wider, if you end up making one yourself for an embroidery hoop. But they're great fun. You can do all sorts of fabrics, different combinations, leather, denim, whatever you like. Have fun making your flat bottom zipper pouch.